Hey, what's up, guys? It's Friday night, coming to you here from the Oldbarn Homestead. Went to the paint booth a couple nights ago and got these painted up. They turned out pretty good. The customer wasn't sure if he wanted the candy, version that has a lighter blue thing of the Dodgers, a little bit lighter than the real color. So he's like, I want a darker blue. So I tried to mix this up, and I think it's a little bit too dark. But I gave him a choice, and, this is what I had. This is, the color that I do standard. And when people start wanting custom colors, it's always a little bit of a challenge. But, yeah, so the one thing that happened on this was this and this Glock one. I used some PPG DPLF epoxy primer, and on the black I just clear coated over the epoxy, and I never would have thought to have done that, but years and years ago James Freddy's mentioned in a video about some parts of the interior of the car that you just epoxy it and then clear over it to protect the epoxy. So when I spray epoxy, I mix acetone in there, which some versions of epoxy say you can do that. Some, I don't know that they call for it or allow it, but some of them will say, 10% acetone to reduce it, just to help it flow out a little better and leave a thinner coat on there, because I'm not really trying to build anything or whatever, just have a little bit of adhesion on the metal. That's really all I need. Well, when I mixed this up, I dumped more than 10% in there. I don't know how much it was. It just kind of sloshed in there, and I was like, oh, well, whatever. I don't want to dump all this out or try to redo it. I'll just spray it. And the mistake I made was not letting it flash off. It had so much acetone in it. It needed about probably 2 or 3 hours to flash off. Well, in 30 minutes or 40 minutes or so, I clear coated it, and you can kind of see it's, this is clear coat as well, and you can see it's a lot shinier than that. That's more of a satin, and this is kind of the same way. It didn't quite dye back as much, but it did kind of dye back some. It's not quite as glossy. Same thing on these stars. He wanted those to match. He wanted a Cowboys and a Dodgers logo. Some guy in Arizona. I'm sorry, LA, Los Angeles. So anyway, and then this one here is for a neighbor that wanted that. But every time I do one of these custom for somebody and charge them for it, it gives me a chance to put these up, make one, put it up for sale on eBay or wherever, and maybe I'll get more orders for it, put it on Instagram and Etsy and wherever else I can put it out there, show you guys. Maybe somebody's watching this from LA and wants one. I had this idea, for some reason, to do sort of a swirl up there in the corner and then come off of it, on different angles with the swirls to kind of create some effect, but I don't know, it looks all right. Just to do something different. And then I got 2 flags that I did, cut those out, painted them. One of them is sold. It was an eBay order that came through, and you can see it's laid out pretty nice. And then the other one I just went ahead and made 2 because somebody's going to want it. Somebody watching this video will be like, I'll take that. All right, guys. I was going to show you 2. I went and delivered one of those table kits last week to a customer that, actually the customer that bought it on Etsy, went up to a Dallas suburb called Frisco, north of Dallas, probably 30 miles north of Dallas. And he had a really cool tabletop that he had built, and those of you that follow me on Instagram, Facebook, have seen it. I post a picture of it, but I grabbed a little video footage too, so I'm gonna stick it on the end of this. This thing is 54 inches wide and 10 feet long, and he emailed me when he bought the kit and said, did I think it would support it? He said he thinks it weighs about 400 pounds, 300 to 400, and I told him, yeah, it wouldn't be a problem at all for these table bases to support 300 or 400 pounds, but I've never really tested it, but it should be plenty strong enough to support that. So Anyway, I'll tack on that here on the end of this. I was just wanting to show you guys this. Also, real quick, I was going to show you this, the tapping video for our order that we are going to do for Adam over at Four Fields Furniture. He went ahead and signed off on that proposal that I gave him for the $2.50 for 100 of them. And somebody left a comment on that video about these Greenlee combination drill and taps. You can see it starts off with a drill bit there, and then it moves into a spiral tap. And this is a 3/8/16. So I went ahead and bought that. And I've got a whole set of these. I made a video on this like 2 or 3 years ago. I'll put a link in the description on it. Maybe like, I don't know, 2 years ago that I made the video on it. And I've almost never used them. It's got a limitation. I think it can tap a maximum of 1/4 inch. And of course, you know, you couldn't really tap a blind hole with it that well. Really not at all. But in our case, it might work well. The only issue that I see with it, or I've found with it, is, you know, to turn the drill size is going to be 5/16 for a 3/8 tap. And so, you know, to turn that drill size at a reasonable RPM, you need to be at around 1,000, if not more, going through steel. Well, the tap, you don't want to turn at 1,000 RPMs. You want to turn that at, you know, 200, 300, something in that range. So, you know, maybe I'll set it up on this one. I can, you know, control a knob back and forth up there to vary the speed on it pretty quickly and easily. This one, I just looked it up online, made a cheat sheet. You can see it goes 240 or 260 RPMs in low, 435, 725, all the way up to 3440 with these belt changes here. So it wouldn't really work to have to constantly be changing that back and forth. I mean, I could probably put it on 435 and drill and tap at that speed and just see how it does. But that would save, you know, to do it all in one operation would help a lot. I think, I don't really know. Maybe it makes a difference, maybe it won't. Now, I don't know how good of a tap this is. Oh, the other thing is I can hold it right in the drill chuck because it's got the hex drive on it there. So that would be a good thing, not to have to hold it in that other thing, because it didn't hold it too well for what I was trying to do there. It worked pretty well for the hand drill, but anyway, Friday night, guys, just bringing you an update. I'll get this uploaded and tack that other video onto the end, and I'm going to be making, get out here tomorrow and kind of clean up a little bit, and from the stuff I was working on today and yesterday, and then start over on a kind of a funny project that's going to feature the metal bender. Keep getting a couple of orders for those in, so I thought I'd make another video that just kind of promotes that, or at least features it. You know, I'm not going to do a big sales pitch on it, but I'll just say, hey, if you want to buy this, I have kits or plans available, that kind of thing, just to kind of keep floating it out there. All right, guys, see you later. YouTube channel.
Sure, absolutely.
So we're up here in Frisco, Texas, Dallas suburb, and this is Joji. He purchased one of our table kits. And I had to get this on camera. This tabletop is just simply amazing. It is a Bubinga solid slab. And you can see the custom cart that Joji made to so he could work on it and tilt the table up and down so he can get access to it and work on it. So he's just has applied the finish and has one more coat of finish to put on it. Now he's kind of working toward getting the base. So he's chosen our table base kit to go with it. And what's the dimension on this again? What's the width?
Width is 4.5 feet.
4.5 feet wide.
And 10 feet long.
10 feet long. Weighs about in the range of 400 pounds. I'm going to move around a little bit so you can get a little different light and catch this grain and all. And he used Waterlux semi-gloss finish on it. And so he did all the flattening and smoothing and planing and joining. He used one of those jigs that you set the boards up on either side and you run a router along it to do the leveling. And where did you get this again?
I think from somebody from Chicago. Somebody had this in their garage. I think it was a designer who was planning to use it for a table.
Okay.
And
Did you just buy it, find it, they had it on Craigslist or something, or?
eBay.
eBay? Okay. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you this.